What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk one final message, I guess, before the game comes out to the detractors, the people that are, anti-Hogwarts Legacy. And I guess specifically, it's going to be going after the cancel mob, those group of people. It's not talking about people that just don't want to play the game. We will actually briefly discuss those people. Now, when the game comes out and whatever ends up happening happens, I'm sure I'll do more videos like this, but I kind of want to put into words in one final video all I've been saying for 4.5 years almost into, one concise thought as best that I can without rambling and going on tangents. So here's what I'll say. And again, this is something that I think you've probably heard many people say many, many times. Do what you want. You can think what you want. You can buy what you want. You can not buy what you want. And that applies to the other side. In fact, I just said that, right? Me, myself, I am very much a freedom kind of person. If you want to buy a game, you buy a game. If you want to listen to one of my reviews and think that I'm an idiot and that you don't care what I say, you're going to get the game anyway, or you're not going to get the game, that's good. I want you to have your own mind. I want you to form your own thoughts. I don't want you to just be a yes man to me. I don't think any creator should strive to do that. Personal opinion. All right? On the other side of things, I think it's totally fine if you want to say, hey, I'm not into Hogwarts Legacy, or hey, the JK thing really rubs me the wrong way. I'm not going to get the game. I understand it, and beyond even understanding, even if I don't understand it, I respect your opinion. And I respect the fact that why would I tell you what to do with your money in the same way that you should not be telling me? Now, you can give nudges, or like when you do a review, you're reviewing it. You're telling people, would I recommend you getting this or not getting this? But when you cross the line, we're about to get there, right? So you can say, well, I'm not into it, or it hasn't actually showed me anything good. Maybe there's people that don't like what they've seen for Hogwarts Legacy. All of that stuff is perfectly fine because it's your money and it's your choice to do what you want with it. Now, that's it. That group of people, if you're still here, welcome. You are welcomed here. The group of people that don't like me, or maybe we don't like each other, whatever, those are the group of people that will take it the next step. So what is the next step? Well, it's not only saying that I'm not getting it, the person, they're not going to get the game. It's also, not just should nobody get the game, but, and I guess that's even a line too, right? Telling people, hey, I wouldn't recommend it. There's worse things you can do. There's a fine line, I suppose, where you take that step over that very thin line is when you start to insult the person. When you start to say, if you do this, if you do this, then you are this. And that is, for some reason, we've decided to do this for Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I've talked about this at length for gaming journalists and, just people in general. This is the wrong game to do it to. Also, the gaming industry is the wrong industry to do it to. You have a better chance of pulling this off in politics, telling you that if you vote for certain people, you are certain things. Hollywood, if you go to see a movie or support a certain actor, Johnny Depp, let's say, you are a certain kind of thing, of course, until he was found to be innocent, right? And that happens, and that's annoying, but we're kind of in like our own protected bubble, right? We kind of like live, and it's escapism gaming, so we kind of like ignore that stuff largely, or at least on the channel. But when you take it into games, you find a kind of a rough and tumble group of people that don't really accept that kind of stuff, people that, whether it's children or teenagers or grown adults or people that have been playing games for 40 years, number one, we don't like really being told what to do just as a human, as just a part of society. When you're told to not do something, there's kind of a part of you, whether it's right or wrong, to question and be like, well, I don't really love being told what to do. You know what else we don't like being, said to us? Not only being told what to do, but being told that if we don't do it, we are some of the most evil people on planet Earth. Now, one thing I've talked about here and there, but I really want to make sure it appears in this video, and I'm remembering it right now with no script, so I'm just going to say it. These are the same people, okay? The people that say, don't buy this game because of J.K. Rowling. These are the people that write this on their phone, type it on their phone or a computer. Do you know where some of the materials and some of the things that makes its way into technology modern day, do you know where that comes from? No, I'm not talking to you guys. You guys are respectful. We are an inclusive, diverse group. It's honestly what the wizarding world is. But what bugs me more than anything, and I'll go down rabbit holes on this, and I'll kind of forget to like bring this up, as ultimately, honestly, maybe the biggest anti-point to their entire thing. So their entire point rests on J.K. Rowling is this thing. You don't have a say in it. She doesn't have a say in it. She is this thing. For better or worse, she is this thing. If you support anything she's ever touched in her life, you now adopt everything that that person has done. That's you now. Same thing on Twitter. If you follow a person or you like a tweet from a person, that means you adopt their entire Twitter portfolio because you basically now are that person. I don't know if you guys know that, but that's the truth. If you like somebody's tweet, that means you liked all of their tweets. And that makes perfect sense if you don't think about it. So with the J.K. Rowling thing, they're assuming, and their entire basis of the point is, she's evil. And so if anything happens associated with her, which, by the way, Hogwarts Legacy, she's going to be fine either way. She didn't touch the story. She's not Avalanche. If the game fails or succeeds, well, if it fails, the studio, say, closes, people get fired. Do you think J.K. Rowling suffers? No, not really. The people suffer, though, the day-to-day workers that, of course, these people care so much about that they go after Troy. Troy is kind of where it all began, right? So they took it all out on him, but if you think about it, the attacks on Hogwarts in general really are the entire studio. If you think about it, they're really just going after the whole team. The fact that they want to cancel the game means not that just Troy is evil, but everybody, Chandler, all of them in the studio, they're all garbage human beings. Like, that's what they are. And again, I think the whole point kind of falls apart when you simply bring up, well, what about everything else? If you're going to live your life, and honestly, there's nothing necessarily wrong. However, you need to have consistency. If you want to live your life tracing things back to the past, I don't recommend it. But if you want to do that, you're going to run into some issues eventually, somewhere. And honestly, with technology and the internet that they're spewing this stuff on, it really stops immediately, right? As soon as you get to, oh, are you sending it on your phone? Do you know where phones come from? Do you know where the parts of phones come? Do you know what minds are? Do you know where, these different working conditions? Let's keep it very safe for YouTube. Do you know the working conditions of some of the people historically that are the reasons you have some of the things you have now? So not only can you kind of dunk on them to say, hey, this anti-thing, this boycott that you're doing on Hogwarts, you're doing it on a computer, right? Do you know where the computer, you want to trace its lineage back? You should probably throw your computer out your window. Not only can you do that, but they'd have a problem with their entire life then. That's literally just looking at the technology that they're typing into. What about their entire lives? And you can't do that with these people because these people really can't think. They refuse to think, or they're just incapable. And the entire argument falls apart. It makes me furious. I mean, honestly, as the time has gone on, as you've seen this boycott get worse and worse, as you've seen, whether it be celebrities or, whatever, internet personalities, even bigger ones, that have talked about, violence against people for getting the game. I saw that, whether it was a joke or not. When you see this kind of stuff pop up, the first thing I think of is like, you guys are so dumb. You're not thinking in the slightest, because if you are, you're just picking a fight. You are picking one fight, but you're not picking the entire fight. So really, put your money where your mouth is. You want to be activists. You want to be all, aggressive in the sense. That's cool, but you're picking one fight. Why don't you pick the whole fight? And if you don't pick the whole fight, why don't you just calm down? Because it kind of goes full circle into, if you're going to calm down, can we all just realize that buying a video game, and it really goes back to the idea, I know I've said this before, you're getting a game, a piece of, a disc in a plastic container, or, whatever you're doing, or you're getting it digitally through the cloud, through the networks, and you're playing a game in your home, whether it be alone or with a group of friends or with family or alone again, you're playing it. What does that have to do with anything? Why does that have to make you something evil? But again, if that makes us evil, well, I guess they're also the word, because you use cell phones, don't you? You use laptops. I'm sure like your dresser has a sketchy past. Like, do you really want to go into that? And the answer is this. The answer is no, because it's all an ideology. It really all stems from J.K. Rowling. It's just on her. Now, again, for better or worse, whether you agree with some of what she said or none of it, or it doesn't honestly matter. The point is, she's the target, and logic completely leaves these people. That's why the people that talk about separating, in this case, the art from the artist, or whether you hear people say, well, I completely disagree with her, but I'm still going to get the game. Or maybe you have people that do agree with her and get the game. It doesn't really matter. But the point is that it's a target. You're targeting her, and all logic, all other arguments go completely out of the window because you're very focused. I mean, in a way, it's something that you would reward them for. I don't know, you give them a medal for the focus that they've had to zero in on one specific thing. Don't really think about anything else that really sinks your argument immediately. Don't think about that. That will really hurt. So instead, play as if you're an idiot, or play as if you're ignorant of that information, but like kind of peacefully ignorant, right? And just keep on going straight ahead. Because you have a mission. You have a mission to cancel the game and to cancel the people that are playing the game. And again, I'm sure this is going to get worse, as the weeks continue to go on or the game goes on. It's not working. And that does bring me a lot of joy. I mean, I covered the Johnny Depp stuff. I've been a fan of Johnny Depp, and Pirates of the Caribbean is actually what started this YouTube channel. Pirates of the Caribbean is the first thing that lifted it up. So, going after him, supporting Amber, and then when all that stuff kind of falls apart, I mean, you really don't look so good. Now, this is slightly different, but the point is generally the same. When you're going so hard on this, it does give me a little bit of sense of joy to see not only are you not growing your group, but a couple other things. You're not growing. You kind of have like this base group that maybe will never leave you. I do think eventually some will wake up and realize that you're the evil ones and to come over kind of to like the light. Not that you have to love the game. Not that the game has to be the greatest thing of all time. Just literally acceptance that you can play the game. Like, it's okay to play a video game. That's all I want from these people, is just to accept that fact. That's it. I don't need them to give the game a 10 out of 10. So I do think some people will wake up, but you have a set group. But not only is your group not growing, you are alienating everybody else. See, this makes you look really, really bad. And I don't think they know this until it's too late. I think they're realizing it now. I think gaming journalist sites are realizing it maybe like a few months ago, where it's like, well, look, we could not cover the game at all, but then we don't make money. But then if we do cover the game and we say something dumb, we are going to get called out. People are not afraid to do that anymore. They maybe used to, but they're not now. So I guess we kind of have to walk this line where we do hate the game. We hate its creators. We hate content create. We hate all of them. But we're going to try to hide it as best as we can. And you know what? Arguably, that's okay. Depending on how they do it, that's okay. But they find out late. Like, again, because normally they don't have, like, big-sized brains. They don't really think all that well. So normally you find out too late, what you've done. So the people that are spewing the most nasty language on planet Earth, calling people some of the worst names on planet Earth, they don't realize that they are those things, that, what they're calling others is what they are. They don't realize that until they've already done it, until they've alienated everybody and said, it actually sounds like you're that thing. It actually sounds like the person preaching inclusivity. Number one, your argument is not even sound. There's no argument to your argument. And then also, like, you can't just be accepting that people can do what they want. Like, the basic definition of diversity or inclusion or any of the hot words they throw around, you can't accept that people can do it. So you make yourself look horrible. And then finally, the third and final part to this is the game is still selling. So it would be one thing if that middle one, the second one, so everybody realizes that they're the bad guys, right? You kind of like have that movie moment. Oh, you're the villain. And then they kind of realize, oh yeah, we are playing the villain in this role. It'd be one thing if that was true and that was happening, which it is. But if the game failed, if they actually won, that'd be one thing. And that would be very sad because, yes, you would understand, like, we'd all get it. Maybe some cultural thing would happen where we wouldn't repeat mistakes, but the game would fail and crumble because of it. But actually, it's the best case scenario. Right now, without the quality of the game. Again, when I make these videos, some people think, like, I'm giving games 10 out of 10, and I'm just, like, bowing down to the game. I'm not talking about the quality of the game. I'm talking about, like, the principle. So it'd be one thing for that, but we actually have the best case scenario where these people ruin their reputations, these people alienate others, these people reveal their hidden trap card. They're the actual villains. They just told you. Now you know. And if you, for some reason, like, forget that in the future, that's a you problem. And then the third and final point is the game is actually selling better. Now, is it the best business practice to have your entire sales profit or, like, to depend on the game's selling well because people are buying it to spite the bad people? that's probably not something you'd like to build off. Like maybe that's something you like to have kind of on the side, like a hidden talent, right? But to build Hogwarts off of just that is not a good thing. Now, granted, I don't think it has that. Again, maybe best case scenario, Hogwarts is in a unique spot where it's got the Wizarding World. It's got the IP. So you automatically bring people over. Then it also looks like a pretty good game. Maybe not the best game, but also not bad. Like, I think overwhelmingly you show people this game and they say, at worst, at best, oh, this is really good. Oh, this is an RPG. Oh, this is a fun-looking game. Oh, I play RPGs. I don't even care about Harry Potter. I'll play this. So you have that group. And then you also have the group that could care less, that's buying it just to put it to the people that told them not to. And so really it's a win-win-win. Like, it's all of them, right? Because the game is selling well in spite of the cancellation campaign. And there's evidence, obviously, to suggest this with the charts and all that stuff. And that's great. Now, again, like, even in that, I can still be critical, right? Let's look at that. You can still say, well, that's not the greatest. You don't want to build for Hogwarts Legacy 2. You don't want to rely on people buying the game just to upset haters. Like, that's not ideal. You would probably want it to be because of the honestly, you may not even want it to be because of the Wizarding World. You probably, at the center, want it to be because of the quality. It's a good game. You trust them now because of the first game. The second game's going to be good. That's ideal. If that's not the case going into the second one, they did mess up somewhere. Like, they did. Because that is what you would want to be the center argument for why you would get the second game. Not to spite the cancellation mob, but because it's a good game. However, without talking about the quality or even knowing the future of, do we get DLC, do we get a sequel, all we can talk about now is, what's going on right now. And it is a win because you just accidentally have this group that's saying, these people are fools. These people are telling me I'm some of the worst things possible. Guess what? I wasn't even going to get the game. I hate J.K. Rowling. I'm not going to get the game. But you know what? Because you're telling me not to, I'm going to get 4 copies. And, yes, there's a little exaggeration there, but you see it every day. You see people buying 2 copies instead of 1 to spite them. You see people buying 1 copy instead of 0, where they didn't care. They still don't care. And, what do you do with that person? Well, maybe the game works to them. Maybe you have a returning customer down the line. Maybe you don't. And again, that's why you don't really want to build it off of that. But just a happy coincidence, you happen to have it for this go-around, for this release. So that's probably all I want to say. It's upsetting. And I've made these videos for years. I'm one of the only, if the only, Hogwarts Legacy creator that does these videos. Not to diss anybody. It's just like I'm throwing myself in the line of fire. And final thing to say, again, going back to the center point, I don't understand how we got here. I guess I get it, but it's very sad that we got to this point, that people had to get fired for this, that we had to go through, and you have to go on Twitter to be told these things to yourself, through, obviously, online, because these people can never say this to your face. You have to go through this stuff. Now, the good news is we're winning, whatever you want to take that as. Like, it's not working. I guess that's the biggest thing. Not even to, like, give an award out, but to just say that these attempts aren't working. But the idea that we're even here is pretty sad, and it is like it's not just a Hogwarts thing. You see this in the industry, gaming industry. You see it in entertainment in general. The idea that somebody has the right to, again, like, I really want to stress this. There's a line between suggestion and telling, okay? And people walk that line. I walk that line all the time. When I do reviews, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I try so hard. And yes, does that come off sometimes in videos like I'm arguing against myself, like I have multiple personalities? Maybe the videos get too long. But at the end of the day, I want to come off real, because ultimately, I'm just a person. I'm just a person talking. I have knowledge. I have opinions, but you don't have to listen to them. And more importantly than that, not even listening, you don't have to follow my instructions, if I even give any, right? So how we got from that, which I think that's what you probably should do, again, just a slight little nudge there. How do you get from that to demanding/telling? Again, fine line, but when you review things, you're talking about something on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. There's a biasness, and maybe you're trying to sell somebody on something. Like, I get how you could get into that, and maybe I do it as well. I understand how you get there. But there's one final line to cross that is not a line you ever should, and that is not just telling them what to do. And specifically with money, when the world is not doing so great, money is your money is your money. You spend it how you want, and I suggest you spend it well because you never know, right? So you have that, and then now you're telling people they're some of the worst things of all time. Now they're telling you that you adopt everything that J.K. Rowling because she's the target, and that's it. And then not only now are you adopting everything that she does, you're adopting it simply because you like something. So imagine somebody 25 years ago coming into your house and saying, oh, you're watching this thing. Hey, did you know that this person that stars in that is a evil blank, blank, blank? Let's throw these names. That makes you one now, too, because you literally consumed that product. And it's like, how did we get there? Well, actually, it was kind of methodical. It took years, decades even, of kind of this slow little build-up. But again, the biggest thing is they made a mistake because Wizarding World, big. Wizarding World, already diverse, already inclusive. Maybe not the creator. Up to you. I'm not telling you what to think about JK. You tell me what you think. I'm not going to tell you. But to say that because you support something that, or you buy something, you play something that she once touched, or anybody once touched, again, immediately the argument breaks down. Immediately it breaks down. That's the good news, is that those arguments cannot hold up. All that they live off of is just, they hope that calling you names online is enough to shut you up. They hope that telling you you're some of the worst things, man, or they block you. You know what? They're hoping that sends the message that that's it. It's final. Their way or the highway. That's it. Because they're very inclusive and diverse. So it's only their way, and that's it. That's the definition, I believe, if I read it right. So as soon as you get into that little trap, or as soon as you realize, I guess, their trap, it's over. It's over for them. And they picked the wrong group this time. I really do believe that. So play what you want. Buy what you want. Listen to who you want. Creators don't have as much power as you think they do. Creators don't have as much power as some creators think they do. Just do you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, both positive, both negative. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.